All right, I'm here with former Cruiserweight world champion and boxing commentator Ted Cofie. Ted made some big developments the past few weeks and also an announcement yesterday. Jai Opetaia set to make his American boxing debut on the Zufa boxing card in March. Your thoughts, firstly, on the move to Zufa and then this fight against Brendan Glenn?
Look, the move to Zufa is good. I mean, Dana White is the real deal. You know what I mean? He's done what he's done with the UFC. He's done it systematically. They've made lots and lots of money. If money's your priority, it's definitely the right move. I mean, boxing is a historical event. Everyone tries their best to be the best promoter. But, Dana White has got a system through UFC or combat sports that work for him. I think he's trying to utilize that system into the sport of boxing. But, with Jai being almost the head of the um, organizational promotional structure, then I think it's a very, very good move. Sorry, man, you've gone silent. I can't hear you. Is that me or you?
I've gone mute. I'm
Oh, there
back.
you go, man. There you go.
Thoughts on I guess the fight Brendan Glant and Jai Opetaia. What's your impressions of this one?
Look, it's a very good fight. But for Jai Opetaia right now, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't, because he wants unifications. He wants the top guys in the division. He's made that extremely clear. In fact, it was about a month ago that Zerdo said, that, oh, I don't know Jai Opetaia. I've never heard his name. And if Jai's been boxing for almost 8 years, so at 7 years and 10 months, you don't know Jai. But yesterday, at 7 years and 11 months, now the whole world wants to fight. Jai Opetaia is definitely going to happen. So people are very contradictory when it comes to Jai. Everyone's got an opinion, but Jai is just Jai, man. He's loyal. He sticks to his family. They've got a strategy. He keeps everyone in place, and they're going on to bigger and better things, man. So please don't worry about Jai Opetaia. I mean, because he's not really sitting there talking about what everyone else is earning and what they're doing and how they're performing. He's got his head down, man. He's in his lane. He respects everybody, but he fights them like he doesn't respect them. So I think it's all good.
What are your thoughts on there has been some criticism about the Zufa deal for Jai? I guess it's such an unknown where this thing will go. What's your thoughts on that criticism around it? Is this the right move for Jai at this point?
Well, I mean, nobody knows, right? I mean, we can't tell the future at all. But at some point, Justin Bieber was unknown and took his unknown manager and became what he became. Anthony Joshua did exactly the same. He had a whole group of unknown people, unknown management team, 258, unknown everything apart from his trainer McCracken at the time. And he stuck to his guns when I'm sure multimillionaires and billion-dollar companies were saying, oh, go with our team, use our marketing team, use our guys. No, this is the whole thing when I talk about family. He's taking his team along. And I'm sure, Jai's been offered mega deals from different people doing different things, but they've got a structure, they've got a plan. There is nothing wrong with being the first out of the gate. Sometimes with today's economy, we don't have the opportunity to be the second mover. Sometimes you got to be the first mover. And sometimes the first mover strategy works, sometimes it doesn't work. In this case, it's not so much a first mover in the fact that we know Dana White has got success. He's got a ton of money himself, so he's not there to try and make a quick dollar here and a quick dollar there. He knows how to make money through sport. And I think it's a good collaboration. The fact that nobody else is there really shines a spotlight on Jai. And we've all been very open about this in Australia. He hasn't really had the spotlight that he deserves as a professional boxer and as a champion. So this will allow him to have a specific spotlight in Las Vegas, the place where legends are made, and he gets to, distribute through Paramount and other television streams across the world. I mean, for me, you know, having a bit of an entrepreneurial mindset and being a bit of an innovator, I think this is a brilliant move, man.
What are your thoughts on, I guess, the move away from Eddie Hearn? Obviously, he had some role in Jai's career the past couple of years. Your thoughts on where Eddie Hearn has sort of landed in this?
Well, Eddie Hearn's going to be all right, man. He's a hustler. Love him or hate him. Do you know what I mean? He always lands on his feet. Yes, he got a good start from his dad, but, he could have sat in an office, got a pot belly, and just done nothing his whole life apart from push a few pencils and just he would always be successful. That's what happens when you got money handed down to you. But he's a hustler, man. I've seen that guy with red eyes off a flight, literally sitting down in a new country for 10 hours and then he's on another flight to a new place. He doesn't have to do that. So you got to respect his hustle. He's always open to have an interview, whether it be 1 in the afternoon or 2 in the morning. He does what he's got to do. So Eddie Hearn's going to be okay. But at the same time, Opetaia, Mick Francis and the team at Tasman had to do what was best for Jai. Um, Eddie openly says that he couldn't lock in the fights that Jai wanted, maybe by no fault of his own, because the other champions just didn't want to fight Jai. And so he moved on. I think in boxing, you can't hold a grudge for too long, man. And we're lucky that we're in a sport that we punch each other in the face for fun or for practice. So after you spar, punch each other in the face and potentially bloody your friend's lip, you shake hands and go for a drink. So the bad blood's going to last about 5 seconds, man. Then Eddie will move on and Jai will move on. It's just the name of the game.
All things going well for Jai, and obviously that winner out of Zurdo Ramirez and David Benavidez. If Benavidez was to win that fight, how big a fight would David Benavidez versus Jai Opetaia be down the track?
Massive fight. I've got nothing but love and respect for David Benavidez. Love his boxing ability. I love his trash talk. I love his ability to switch languages so seamlessly and so eloquently at speed. And, but he's openly said he won't fight Jai. Man, I don't blame him, right? Boxing, live structure, it's about strategy. Boxing is about strategy when it comes to the business formulation of success. And he has said, I want to go and test myself at Cruiserweight, because he was the chief sparring partner for Zurdo many years ago. So he knows how Zurdo moves. Zurdo doesn't have the foot movement, the speed, and the agility that Benavidez has. So he said, I'm going to touch Cruiserweight. It's going to be fantastic on his resume to have 2 titles. He's going to vacate and go back down to light heavyweight. Like, whether Jai likes that or not, that's a brilliant move for David Benavidez. It's a good strategic move because he knows that Jai will give him nightmares. And, he's not sitting there saying, oh, I've never heard of Jai. Who's Jai Opetaia? He's like literally saying, hey, I'm going to go up and fight and I'm going to move back down. So I can't hate him. It would be a big fight if it happened, though. But I think only, Turkey money or Zufa money can make that happen if it happens. But I'm really not confident it will.
Mm. Other news, mate. Some big news here in Australia. Liam Paro set for a world title shot against Lewis Crocker. What do you know? What do you know about Crocker? What can we sort of expect, and how does Liam fare in this fight?
Well, first of all, Liam Paro is a great fighter. I mean, he went and did the initial move on Subriel Matias, and he did it fantastically, boxed strategically, very, very disciplined. On top of that, he's a great guy. I think he's got an amazing chance, but Crocker's no joke. Cracks a beautiful overhand right, the big southpaw killer. And we saw him come from adversity. I like the way that actually Crocker changed his tactics in the fight when he won the title compared to when he won by disqualification in the fight before. So he literally span his tactics on a dime, and did really well. So I think you've got to respect the smartness of Crocker to be able to kind of judge a fight based on what's in front of him and not based on, ego or bravado or just throwing a big right hand. I think it's going to be very, very competitive. I think whoever wins that fight is going to actually deserve the fight, and it's not just going to be a gimme fight. So can I say who's going to win? I can't with my hand on my heart, but what I can say is that it's going to be a very good fight, and I got a lot of respect for Liam.
Big news, Tszyu, the last couple of days as well. Rumours of a fight against Errol Spence. Thoughts on that fight and how Tim would fare and how big that would be for Tszyu's career, but also there's talk of a domestic opponent in the interim. So thoughts on Tszyu?
Well, Tim's going to do what he's going to do. Unfortunately, he's got the issues going on with Glenn Jennings, that was brought to light in your interview with Peter. And that's sad, really. No one wants to see that in boxing, especially family friends that have been there since you were a child. But, it is what it is. I think Tim's got a fantastic chance. I think that Tim's had some adversity and he's shown a positive mindset after that adversity, moving on to Pedro Diaz. And now he's going to fight Errol Spence. And Errol Spence himself has had adversity with Terence Crawford. There's no shame in where both guys were, but I think this will catapult one to a next level. And I think if Errol Spence loses, he might call it a day. If Tim loses, I still think he's got somewhere to go. I think he's a bit younger, if I'm not mistaken, and he's got a great platform here in Australia. But I think it's a good fight. I think it's a bit of a style shift. Errol Spence is elite or was elite, and I think this is gonna be a case of what level Errol Spence is at right now. I think that's what everyone's going to be looking at. So the first two rounds will tell us, about his time and his speed, his strength, his foot movement. Can he do what he used to do, or is he just going to be a sitting duck for Tszyu? If Errol Spence is not at his best, Tszyu will expose him. You know what I mean? But if he's at his best, it'll be a competitive fight, and Tim will have to, look out for Errol Spence's sneaky shots. And hey, that's another pick and fight, man. A lot of it depends on mindset going in.
If Tim was to get a scalp like Errol Spence,
Yeah,
that sort of puts him right back up there, especially in the US where Errol's a big name.
exactly. Well, the fact that Errol Spence picked Tszyu means that Tszyu's up there anyway. I mean, he's up there anyway. A couple of losses doesn't derail your career. And boxing is particularly negative on the defeat side of things, because obviously when you get beat in boxing, it's not just like losing a game of tennis. You're taking a physical beating and you're taking an emotional beating. So sometimes one defeat can just derail somebody forever. But I think Tim has shown that he's got the mindset to come back. He's gone and explored, American waters. He's found a trainer. He's come back. He's got a W. But I would like to actually see him, just omit his next warm-up fight. Just go straight to Errol Spence, man. Because if Errol Spence is at his best, that's going to be a tough fight for anybody.
Have to get your thoughts on this one, Ted. One of the major controversies of the past month here in Australia was Nikita Tszyu, Michael Zarafa. Did you watch the fight? What are your
I did.
thoughts on it? And
I did.
where does Michael Zarafa go from here?
Look, I don't think I'm saying anything that anybody else hasn't said or already thought. At the time, I thought what Michael Zarafa did was okay. The individual action of what he did was okay. He obviously had some adversity. He couldn't see properly. He said, I can't see properly. And that's a way for him to live to fight another day. I kind of respect that in the fact that he thought, geez, Nikita's strong and tough and I'm just not going to risk it. But it's not what he did in the moment. It's what he did after the moment that created the issue. It was I didn't say that. It was the referee's fault. You know what I mean? And I think Australians in particular, like to be quite accountable. You know what I mean? And I think the fact that he threw somebody or threw everybody under the bus and then said, look, it wasn't me. I wanted to fight. I think this is what did it for him. But, I think Tim Tszyu said it best, which was almost like I found it to be a bit of an open apology because Tim went for him in the ring. And then Tim finally said, look, mental health, don't be too tough on this guy. And I think the same, he made, when we fight, we're in a very, very heightened emotional state. And you do and say things that you don't think about and you don't remember. I mean, I've had fights before. I fought 12 rounds and I've not remembered any of the fight. And you go back and watch it on tape. You say, oh, yeah, that's what happened. A lot of boxers are the same. You don't remember because your adrenaline is so high. Your defense mechanisms are so high. Your offensive mechanisms are so high that you miss small details. So if he was switched on and he was, in the moment and his heart's beating fast and he's saying all these things, he's probably looked back and thought, man, what did I do? But I mean, he can still box, man. I mean, things happen. People have elbowed, bit ears off, trod on toes, hit you below the belt. They've done a million things. They come back. He'll be accepted in another fight. Whether anyone will just, back him in a full promotion is another thing. But, at the end of the day, Michael Zarafa is a good boxer, man. He just did something silly. He made a silly mistake. And, he might have to pay for that financially. But, he'll be okay to move on.
What about Nikita Tszyu? Did you see any improvements in there? How far off is Nikita Tszyu from sort of challenging those sort of top 15 guys out there?
Top 15 is right there, man. I saw massive improvements in Nikita Tszyu, physically, emotionally, mentally. He didn't go into... He stuck to his own game plan against Michael Zarafa, which was surprising. I thought he'd be a bit more standoffish. I thought he'd be a bit more respectful because he spoke about, I'm not on, Michael's level yet, but I'm going to go out there and fight. So, but he was, if you like, dominant, for lack of a better phrase. He was dominating. He wasn't afraid. He took a couple of licks and he was there to fight. And you could see that he was ready to rough him up and he was ready to take the punishment required to be successful. So I think that Nikita, showed his mettle. He showed his ability to compete with these guys mentally, which is the key. And I think he's got great opportunities, man, to move forward.
Mm. All right, Ted. What about yourself, mate? When can we expect to see you back on our screens, mate? We always enjoy seeing Ted
Am I
Cofie.
making a comeback, you mean? Man, whenever, look, boxing in Australia is not the primary sport, as you know. We're about eighth down the ladder behind many other sports. So I think that, people in the sport treat commentary similarly. Like we don't have one set commentary team like America, like England, which works very well. So basically, myself and all the other expert analysts, you kind of sit and wait for a call, and then you watch the TV and you got, foreign bodies on there, external people, different sports people, all these things doing, and it doesn't create um um it doesn't create good repetition and regularity when you've got different people coming from everywhere to commentate on the same thing. But, I'm not an executive in the broadcasting game. So as far as DAZN are concerned, I'm happy. As far as Tasman fighters are concerned, I'm happy. And as far as Fox Sports even are concerned, I'm happy. But, I'm always available for an opinion, man. That you can never take away from me.
Good man. Always enjoy chatting, mate. We'll catch you soon.
Yeah, for sure, Jay. Have a great day.